Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have some very interesting updates to share about Donald Trump's coup clowns. First, Stephanie Lambert is being sued, and she's accused of pressuring data experts to lie and say that the 2020 election was rigged. Lambert is the Michigan attorney. You guys might remember she was indicted in early August for her alleged involvement in the breach of voting equipment. Well, now she's being sued by a data firm called XR Vision. This is related to that breach. XR Vision was hired by Lambert to analyze the stolen voting equipment. And the company claims that Lambert and the person who was financing these schemes have defamed them and damaged their company's reputation. XR Vision says they reviewed election equipment that was used in a rural Pennsylvania county in the 2020 election. And they claim that Lambert became completely irate because they returned a report to her showing that the voting machines hadn't been hacked. They hadn't been preset to favor either candidate. So totally disproved Donald Trump's lies, or proved that he was lying, I should say. And then the company claims that when Lambert asked their employees to falsify the report and indicate that they had in fact found, quote, cheat codes and evidence of hacking in the machine software, their employees refused to go along with that. And Lambert, that's when she lost her mind. And apparently she and her financial backer started bad-mouthing the company. So it caused them to lose potential contracts. XR Vision also says that they're still owed over $500,000 for their work. And a whistleblower who's spoken with the FBI multiple times has corroborated their story. The whistleblower is a man named Mike Ryan. He worked for the man funding these election fraud schemes and all these quote unquote investigations. And the whistleblower told USA Today he handed over evidence to the FBI showing that Lambert's law firm was basically the middleman. She was using her law firm to funnel his boss's money to all of these schemes. Ryan said, the whistleblower guy, that he became suspicious of his boss's activities because his boss was boasting about being a fake elector for Trump. And then he warned his employee, he warned Ryan, stay away from Washington, D.C. on January 6th. What did he know and how did he know it, right? Ryan also told the news outlet, quote, I met with the FBI because I realized things weren't right. April 7 was my first meeting with the FBI and special counsel's office. I turned over some documents and emails that still have not been made public. We discussed my boss, his travel to Mar-a-Lago, the White House, and additional meetings in DC. And quote, he was funding cyber firms to do election audits in several states. Bill Bockenberg's fingerprints are all over the cyber audits in all 4 states. He is the biggest name in the Republican Party that you've never heard of. So this Bill Bockenberg, he was Ryan's boss. He is the man accused of bankrolling all of this. Bockenberg is a Pennsylvania businessman. He served as the co-chair of a committee to try to reelect Trump. He also helped to bring together all of the fake electors from Michigan. And in addition, he was the one who was deciding which investigations, which of these quote unquote audits, these election schemes to pursue and which companies to hire. And in addition to XR Vision, Bockenberg hired cyber ninjas, the fraudit people from Arizona. XR Vision says Bockenberg, what he did was he established a $1 million line of credit. And that was to be used to cover attorney's fees, also any expenses related to these quote unquote election fraud investigations. So XR Vision is suing both Lambert and Bockenberg for defamation and also for breach of contract, and they're demanding $10 million in damages. However, they say that they haven't been able to serve them yet. The whole lawsuit is stalled out because they just haven't been served. So I don't know if they're hiding or what the deal is, but Lambert still denies all wrongdoing. But if the feds decide to charge her on top of her state charges, she might change her tune a little bit. So we'll see. I will definitely keep an eye on this for you guys. In other coup clown news, Rudy Giuliani has just lost his remaining attorney in the Georgia RICO case. I shared with all of you just a couple days ago that one of his two attorneys had requested to be removed from the case. Well, now his lone second attorney has also filed a motion to withdraw. So we'll see what happens with that Trump train wreck. And then speaking of Trump train wrecks, My Pillow Man also just lost his attorneys. Mike Lindell's entire legal team just filed a motion to withdraw from his case with the Dominion defamation lawsuit. They said in this motion, quote, defendants are millions of dollars in arrears. Millions. This is really bad news for Lindell because this is the same attorney's firm that has been representing him in the Smartmatic defamation case and also the defamation case that was filed by Eric Coomer. He's that former Dominion CEO. So he is up a creek. And apparently Lindell knew this was coming because they warned him in September. They said, pay us or we're going to withdraw. Well, they gave him a final warning on October 2nd, but they said that Lindell and My Pillow, quote, are not able to get caught up with or make any payment on the large amount they owe in arrears, nor pay for anywhere near the estimated expense of continuing to defend against the lawsuits going forward, including either the legal fees or litigation costs. The law firm said that, to their knowledge, Lindell is in the process of obtaining new counsel, but then they also said that they advised him of what he needs to do, how he needs to proceed, if he plans to represent himself. That would be a shit show of epic proportions. It would be so entertaining. I really hope that happens. Anyway, in other Georgia RICO news, the judge conducted a hearing today to determine if there's any merit to the claims brought by Sidney Powell against the prosecutor. Powell, as I previously mentioned, she claims that the district attorney's office committed acts of prosecutorial misconduct, and she's trying to get her case dismissed. So I will let you know how that shakes out. In the meantime, that same district attorney, Fani Willis, has offered plea deals to some of Powell's co-defendants in that case. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, at least a handful of the remaining 18 defendants have either received a formal offer from the DA or their attorneys have been informally contacted to, just kind of throw it out there and see if there's any reception, if there's a possibility. Now, one of the people who was offered a deal for sure is Mike Roman. He was the director of election day operations for the Trump 2020 campaign. His attorney confirmed that, yes, there was an offer, but he said, we've rejected it. We maintain his innocence. So we'll see. The Journal said that the deals were also floated to some of the defendants involved in that pressure campaign against election worker Ruby Freeman. They did not specify, though, which defendants. There's 3 of them in total that were involved allegedly in that. And it's unknown if deals were in fact offered to Sidney Powell and her trial buddy, Kenneth Chesebro. But the DA's office did release their witness list in these trials that are coming up, and it includes the names of 3 Coffee County election officials. So this is really bad news for Powell because in an unrelated lawsuit, one of these 3 officials had testified already that the elections board, which he sits on, had no knowledge of, nor did they approve of the review of the voting equipment in Coffee County. Because Sidney Powell's whole thing is, there was authorization given. We had authorization to do this. Not so. But rather than spending her time working out a plea deal, she is requesting a delay in her defamation lawsuit that was brought by Dominion Voting Systems. In a new court filing, Powell requested a 60-day pause on deposition and or discovery in that case because of her impending Georgia trial. So we'll see what happens with that. And then Kenneth Chesebro is still trying to get his Georgia case tossed. In a completely desperate move, Chesebro filed a motion to dismiss the case based on the fact that the lead prosecutor, Nathan Wade, failed to file his oath of office document. This is like a clerical error, and he's trying to get the case tossed. Apparently, when Wade was brought on as a special prosecutor by the DA, he completed the document, but he never filed it with the court. So therefore, Chesebro claims that Wade, quote, was not an authorized public officer by Georgia law, when the indictment was issued. So this is an 11th hour Hail Mary pass. It's all he has at this point. Chesebro has also asked the judge for more peremptory strikes. I think that's how you say it, peremptory strikes, during the jury selection. So according to the Messenger news outlet, what that term means is it refers to the ability of a defendant to dismiss potential jurors without explanation during the jury selection process. Under Georgia law, defendants are typically given 9 of those chances. They are allowed to dismiss 9 jurors without any explanation. Well, Chesebro and Powell, as you guys know, they're going to trial together. So he's saying, typically they would share those 9 strikes. They would, between the two of them, get to dismiss 9 people. Chesebro is arguing there's no overlap in their cases, that the allegations against them are completely different. So he's saying because of that, they should be granted an additional 5 strikes. Sounds absurd in my opinion, but we'll see what the judge has to say. So lots going on with the Coup clowns. I will keep you all up to date on all of this. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it with others, become a subscriber if you have not, become a donor if you possibly can. Love you guys so much. Take care. Talk with you soon.